Hello everyone. Today I think we're going to talk about baby names. I love hearing how people come up with the names for their kids. Some people have like a letter theme or a syllable theme, or like only using biblical names, or only using like fruit names or whatever. Everybody seems to have a different opinion about should there be a theme or not, or all that stuff. And I don't know, I just like hearing about how people come up with their kids' names. And so today I thought I would sit down, take a few minutes, and share with you how my kids got their names. As you know, I have 5 kids, and I do have a theme, kind of. They all are named after someone. Not necessarily someone I know, but someone nonetheless. All of them are after somebody. So I'm going to be sharing their first and middle names, how they got their name, and then what their name would have been if they were the opposite gender. So let's go ahead and start with Autumn. Her name is Autumn Page. Now, the only real reason why her name is Autumn is because it's my favorite season. I love that season, I love everything about it, and she's born in October, so it works out perfectly. But yeah, it's my favorite season, and also her dad's favorite season, so I just thought Autumn was like perfect for her. And I know people want to think of like seasonal names, they tend to think of summer typically, but I don't know, I just never really liked the name. I mean, it's a nice name, just is not a kind of name I want to give my kid name. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, there's no like mystical, magical, oh, this happened, and no. Her name is Autumn because I like the season. And Paige is her middle name. She's named after Paige O'Hara. She's an actress, most commonly a voice actress, and I'm pretty sure her most famous work is as the voice of Belle in Beauty and the Beast, and my favorite princess is Belle, so kind of, you know, snuck in that little Disney part that I love. So that's why her name is Autumn Page. Had she been a boy, her name would have been Mark Edward. I don't really know where Mark came from. I forget where that came from, but her dad's name is Edward, so that's how that came. Let's go on to Sarah. Her name is Sarah Brianne. Sarah's name was not going to be Sarah. In fact, I didn't decide to name her Sarah until the day after she was born. Her name was going to be Holly with an I-E. I love the name Holly. Again, it's one of those names that you don't really hear all that often, but you have heard of it, and I like those kind of names. Like, nothing's wrong with having a top 10 or a top 20 name. I just kind of didn't really want a name that super common for my kids. I didn't want them to be like one of like 7 in their class. That never happened to me. My name is, you never really hear it for a girl. So, but anyway, the day after Sarah was born, I realized she was not a Holly, so I just went back to the drawing board, and my favorite girl names are Hannah and Sarah. So I was okay, let's either Hannah or Sarah, and I looked at her and she was not a Hannah, and she's still not a Hannah, and so I named her Sarah. And the Brianne part comes from my Uncle Brian, but it's not spelled B-R-E-A-N-N-E like the typical, I guess, way of spelling Brianne. It's B-R-E-E-A-N-N. A little bit different, a little bit unique, but I kind of liked the idea of going a little bit different for Brianne, because that is a more common name than Holly would have been. And if her name would have been Holly, it still would have been Holly Brianne. Brianne was there no matter what. I wanted Brianne after my uncle. So yeah. And had she been a boy, her name would have been Hayden Matthew. Hayden after the actor Hayden Christensen. Star Wars Episode 3 had just come out, and I am a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, I'm wearing a Chewbacca. Can you see it? I'm wearing a Chewbacca shirt today, and I have a Millennium Falcon necklace I usually wear with this, but I'm not today. So yeah, that's why Hayden. My favorite character is Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker, and that's who he played. And then Matthew was after my cousin Isaiah. He and I had a really special bond whenever he was little. He's a lot younger than me. He's not even a teenager yet. He's only, what, 2 years older than Sarah, and they had a very special relationship as well. So if she'd have been a boy, she'd have been named after him, because his middle name was also Matthew. That takes us to Brooklyn. And Brooklyn's name was semi-easy to come up with. We knew I wanted Brooke. Well, Okay, originally I had wanted Austin. I love the name Austin for a girl. I'm not too big into unisex names, having one myself. I'm not really big into them, but I love the name Austin for a girl. I just think it's so, so, so pretty. But my husband's like, no city names, none, I don't think so. So we came up with Brooke. And I like the name Brooke, love the name Brooke. And she's actually called Brooke a lot. But I had an aunt who passed away in '05 and her middle name was Lynn. So I kind of wanted to like sneak that in there somewhere. And I could have with Sarah, but it was still fresh. We were all still grieving a lot and I did not want to step on her daughter's toes on that one. So I chose not to use it at that time. However, it would have just been Lynn. Like Sarah's name would have been Sarah Lynn or something like that. However, Brooklyn's name is Brooklyn, like the city, only not after the city. So yeah, that's how Brooke and Lynn came to be. And then her middle name is Cassandra. Cassandra is after my dad. His name is Casey. And Cassandra's a name I've always really liked, but never really considered using so much. And whenever it came time to name her, I asked my husband, what middle name do you want? Because we had agreed that he'd pick the middle name. And he's like, you know what? I really don't care. I'm like, okay. So I was going to name her Brooklyn Grace. So I went and I made the little half circle that, you know, for the G. And he goes, just not Grace. I'm like, all right. So it's this like thinking of like G and C names, or maybe even trying to like turn into an E for, I don't know, whatever. And my dad had left. He was the last person to leave that day. So I'm like, all right, well, Cassandra named after my dad. So that's how that came to be. And had Brooklyn been a boy, her name would have been Riley Nicholas. Riley is my husband's favorite boy name, and he would have picked the first name for a boy. And then Nicholas is my favorite boy name. And I'll tell you more about how and why I chose Nicholas when I get to Sam's name. Because what Brooklyn's name for a boy would have been is actually Sam's, well, are actually Sam's middle names. So more on that in a minute. But anyway, that's how Brooklyn came to be Brooklyn Cassandra. Now going on to my littlest princess, my little Luna Kailyn. Luna's name was one that I liked for a long time. There was a show in the 90s called Bear in the Big Blue House. It was on Playhouse Disney. My brother, who's a lot younger than me also, he's almost 19, he used to watch that show every day, and I used to babysit him a lot, and I'd watch it with him, clearly. And every night he would talk to the moon, and the moon's name was Luna. And I thought it was so cute because he'd get so excited, Luna, Luna, and it was so cute. So that's one of the reasons. Another, and the biggest reason, is because Luna Lovegood is my favorite character in Harry Potter. And Luna happened to be born about 6 weeks after the last Harry Potter movie came out. So I just kind of wanted to get in my little Harry Potter name for her, and my husband loved the name. However, I was not watching either of those when I came up with the name. I was watching Wolverine. Those of you who have seen Wolverine, maybe you've noticed the part where Wolverine talks, well, not Wolverine, his girlfriend, talks about the moon. He tells them the story about the moon and her being lonely and all these things. And I was watching that whenever I had the idea to name her Luna. And my husband loved it, and that was that. Luna had a lot of different middle names. Brooklyn did too. But it came down to being between, I believe, Estelle and Kailyn. And again, my husband picks the middle names for the girls, so he chose Kailyn. And Kailyn is after a character in the book series, The Sword of Truth, in a very short-lived TV series called Legend of the Seeker. The girl in it, she's not a heroine technically, but let's just go ahead and call her that. Her name is Kailyn, and he just loved that character, and I loved that character, so we went ahead and named her Kailyn. And the character, her middle name is spelled the same way the character's name is spelled. It's the old Irish way of spelling it. It's K-A-H-L-A-N. And people asked me several times, oh, is it from Teen Mom 2? And I didn't even know there was a girl on there named Kailyn until someone asked me, and Luna was a baby, so no. If she had been a boy, her name would have been Elliot Nicholas. Elliot, because we both are huge SVU fans. We love SVU. Well, loved. Now that Stabler's gone, not so much. But we were gonna name her after a character on there. And then Nicholas, again, we're gonna get to right now when we talk about Sam. His name is Sam Riley Nicholas. My husband picked the name Sam. I did not pick it. And I'm like sinking into my couch here. I don't know why. Anyway, he picked Sam. I did not pick it. And it's not Samuel, it's just Sam. I get asked that question a lot, and no, it's just Sam. And he was named after my husband's best friend. My husband's like, you know what, that's totally cool because he's gonna end up going by Sam eventually anyway. Something happened in my bedroom, which is fine. Anyway, so that's kind of how that came about. And Riley, like I said before, is my husband's favorite boy name. It's not because of the character, but I don't think he heard it until we saw National Treasure, and that's one of the characters in there. His name is Riley. Now on to Nicholas. Nicholas was, my favorite boy name is Nicholas, and I get a lot of crap for this because we don't, I don't want to say teach, that's the wrong word. And lie is too strong of a word. We don't, I guess, teach our children the myth about Santa Claus being real. However, that's who Sam is named after, Saint Nicholas. The actual story of Saint Nicholas, the legend of Saint Nicholas, that's where Sam got his name. That's where Nicholas comes from. Love the name Nicholas. Honestly, even without that, I probably still would have named him Nicholas because I love that name. It's so pretty. And he already had a namesake from Sam, so didn't need one for a middle name, although all the other kids have it for the middle name and he has it for a first name, so it's kind of cool how that turned out. And if he had been a girl, his name would have been Katniss Ivy. Katniss is because I am a Hunger Games fan and I love the name Katniss. Ever since I first read the book, I was like, that is such a pretty, unusual name. I love it. It's so nice. And again, I'm not a big fan of these common trendy names. Not that they're not beautiful, I just don't want my child to be one of 10 in their class. So Katniss would have been from the Hunger Games, and then Ivy my husband picked. I'm not really sure why or where that came from. He just likes the name Ivy. I don't know. But anyway, that's how my kids got their names. If you'd like to share what your kids' names are, go ahead and put them in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Stay a while. We'd love to have you. There's some interesting stuff that I'm going to be doing coming up soon. A few baking tutorials and things like that. So yeah, hang around. Love to have you. You guys all have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.